Hello DayZ friends. In this video I'll read the questions out loud so you can listen to the video in the background without having to watch it. Have fun with the second set of 10 questions and let's try to use criticism constructively and not take it personally. Okay? And that way it becomes something positive. Okay? Have fun with the video, and I want to start with the question you all want to know, I'm sure. When can we expect an alpha version, or when will we have something playable?
Yeah, for sure. We only have a few more stages to test with the patrons, so the Steam page will be created as soon as possible next year, and the early access version will also be released sometime next year. I apologize for taking so long to set the Steam page up, but we've just been so busy with the testing. Busier than a mosquito at a nudist beach.
The progress does not speak in favor of the game, and after such a long wait, it's almost impossible for me to invest even a penny in it.
You know, I'd say that the progress does speak in favor of the game because despite the fact that we're just a bunch of guys from the street and our only experience in game development was that of creating a mod, which is very little relative to what you actually need to create a game from scratch. And despite the illnesses and all the pandemics and everything that we got hit with, we're still here. We now have a real playable product that people are testing as we speak, and there isn't a whole lot left to do before it can be released to the public. Anyone can create a game with a large team of experienced professionals and a huge budget and a marketing team and a management team and so forth. But being able to create a game of this complexity in such difficult conditions with so little resources speaks volumes about the team behind it. A team may look good on paper, but what I want to know is whether the team has the dedication, the resourcefulness, and the versatility to persevere to the end and not fall apart immediately when difficulties arise. Those are the true qualities that one should look for, and I believe that our team has demonstrated just that.
Are there any elements from the mod that you do not wish to include in the finished game? Example vehicles, skill system, items, cities?
We'd like to include as much as we can from the mod, but when it comes to the skill system, for example, we're going to rework it to make it less repetitive and so that the player gets an immediate reward while developing a skill. So one idea, for example, is that if a player bandages someone, they immediately become a little bit better at that skill, and the next time they use a bandage, the action will take less time to complete. But the skill system is something that we're going to get into after the early access is released. We haven't worked on it yet, so nothing is set in stone at this point. And we're going to do a lot of community polls on it, as it's a very important feature and we want to get it perfect. Perhaps you could collect some ideas from the community and then we can discuss them. I think that would be interesting and pretty fun.
In the latest versions of the mod, the toolbox has been removed and individual tools have been added instead. This means that you have to go to great lengths to find the tools you need. What do you have planned for Taviana?
Yes, however, in Taviana the Origins, we've taken a different approach, as people might have seen in your previous video where you showed off some of the inventory. The way it works now is that there are two toolboxes, one for repairing vehicles and the other for base building. Once you find the toolbox, you can immediately use it to repair vehicles or to build structures, but you can improve the toolbox by finding and adding tools to it, which will make the repair or building process faster depending on how many tools you have. There are 6 tools in total, and each tool will increase the speed by 10%, for example. Although that is an admin option and server admins will be able to set that to whatever they like. We think that this is a good approach, which won't be frustrating to some players as it can be when you have to find 6 separate tools as it is currently in the mod. Alex also wants to add a medical box, which is something that we'll take a look at when we begin preparing the inventory test stage for the patrons. And we'll also run some community polls on it to make sure that everyone is happy.
Hi, I have a question and I mean this completely seriously. What is the reason that the game has been in development for so long?
Again, I've touched on the main issue in the previous questions, but on top of that, I also fell ill for a long time in the early stages of development. I had to have surgery and spent a lot of time recovering from that. Alex was also ill at one point, and then of course we got hit with the COVID-19 pandemic, so all these factors slowed us down a lot. Besides that, some of our team members also had to do compulsory military service and so forth. Another issue was that the engine was still in development, and every time an update was released, we had to spend time moving everything to the new version, which can be problematic. So yeah, the first few years are brutal because you don't know anything, there's really nobody to ask, there's a million things to do, and then you take these unexpected liver punches. But we got through it, we're better people because of it, and that's the most important part. Every cloud has a silver lining, as the English saying goes.
Will the Flying Fortress be reworked or will it remain unchanged in the game?
As with all of the models, the Flying Fortress will be remade from scratch, but it will be closely based on how the original looked, plus some improvements and new functions that Unreal Engine has opened the door to. But you know, I don't want to give away any spoilers.
Will the visual models of the characters from Arma 2 be carried over as they were in the old versions of the mod when the skin changed with each level?
You know, that's something that we haven't decided upon yet, as we're currently getting Phase 7 ready, which is the phase that will include clothing. The problem is that our inventory is designed for modular clothing, meaning that the jacket, the hat, the shoes, etc. are all separate. So making it work with all-in-one skins is challenging, and I don't have a definite answer for you yet.
Are there any plans to support the game after its release?
For sure, we plan on releasing patches and adding some extra functionality as always.
When will the Simpson S51 arrive in Taviana? Martin promised me.
Probably. That's a very good looking motorcycle. Very simple, very light, exactly what you want in a post-apocalyptic environment. That and the BMW R75, which is still made in Russia to this day, by the way, under the brand Ural, due to its legendary reliability. Exactly what you need out there in the vast expanses and the unforgiving terrain of the taiga, you know? Simplicity and reliability is king, you know? You don't want some overly complex junk where you have to wait 2 months for a single screw to be shipped to you from somewhere in Italy when you get stuck in the forest in Russia. Unnecessarily complicated and bad designs are a big problem in today's vehicles, and a lot of people are beginning to understand that. The average age of cars in most countries is approaching like 15 years now, even in the wealthy countries. People are beginning to value simplicity.
Will there be a Taviana The Origins page on Boosty, similar to Patreon, for Russians? Due to sanctions, Russians currently have no way of paying on Patreon.
Yeah, you know, we've heard of Bootsy, but we've never used it. We don't know what to expect. We just want to get the remaining stages of the game done at this point, so the answer is no, not right now. Thank you for inviting me to answer these questions, and I would also like to thank you on behalf of the team for taking such a proactive role in streaming all the test phases and creating videos such as this one to help promote the game, especially among the German community. Thank you for having me, it was a pleasure, I really enjoyed answering these questions, and I shall look forward to hopefully answering more questions in the future. Auf Wiedersehen!